You could see in his eyes, nothing behind the eyes, dead behind the eyes, no soul, NPC, non-player character. He didn't have
ladies again, start making better choices when it come to men too. We see the signs, we see the warnings. Of course we love them, but guess what? We got to love ourselves more too. So when he hit you once, let it go.
I came back to this case because you made me. The comments under the first video did not stop. They kept coming, hundreds of them, then thousands. And the same questions kept rising to the top no matter how many times I read through them. Why did he kill his own children? Who was the second woman? Was he on something? What happened on that date with his daughter the night before? And one question that kept appearing in the more private corners of the comment section that I am going to address directly before this video is over. So I went back. I pulled every confirmed source, every family statement, every court record, every social media post that has now been verified. And I watched the doorbell camera footage that captured him running, alone, through a Shreveport street while the city behind him was still waking up. No accomplice. No second person. Just a man who had already finished what he came to do and was moving fast in the direction of his own end. That footage told me something the press conference never said out loud. He was not panicking. He was executing a plan that had already been completed, and now I am going to tell you everything I found. Shamar Elkins was born January 1st, 1995 in Shreveport, Louisiana. He never left. Cedar Grove was his neighborhood, his block, his entire world. But before we get to the man he became, we have to talk about the boy he was, because that part of this story has been almost completely buried under the weight of what he did. His biological mother, Mahalia Elkins, gave birth to him as a teenager while battling a crack cocaine addiction. She could not raise him. A family friend named Betty Walker stepped in and became the woman who actually raised Shamar Elkins from childhood. Betty Walker was his stability, his foundation, the person who filled in the space his mother left behind. Mahalia and Shamar only reconnected more than a decade ago, after he was already an adult, already in the Guard, already building the life that would end the way it ended. The last time Betty Walker saw him was the weekend before the shooting. He brought his entire family to her house for dinner. She said he seemed completely normal. When her phone rang Sunday morning, she said, my babies are gone." His mother texted him the Tuesday before the shooting asking about the children. He replied that everyone was doing okay. On Thursday, she texted, "I love y'all. Give my grandson and my granddaughters a kiss from Grandma." He never texted back. He was already inside whatever had closed around him. Now the questions your comments demanded answers to. The affair. This is now confirmed. Shaniqua Pugh did not simply file for divorce. She filed citing infidelity. That detail was confirmed directly to CNN by Troy Brown, Elkins' own brother-in-law. He was cheating. She found out. She filed. And here is the part that makes this case reach backward in time and rewrite everything. Before they were even married, Shaniqua had considered leaving him. And when she did, Elkins told her directly that if she ever left, he would kill her, their children, and himself. She heard that threat. She stayed. She married him in April 2024. And when she finally filed for divorce 2 years later, that threat, which had been sitting inside their relationship since before the wedding, became the blueprint for what happened on Sunday morning. He enlisted in the Louisiana Army National Guard in August 2013 at 18 years old and served 7 years as a signal support system specialist and a fire support specialist. Both roles involve weapons systems, coordinating firepower, and operating under pressure in high-stakes environments. He was never deployed overseas. He left in August 2020 as a private, the lowest enlisted rank, and came back to Cedar Grove with no documented transition support on public record. 7 years of military training. Nothing to help him integrate back into civilian life when the uniform came off. After leaving the Guard, he went to work at UPS. His co-worker Willie Vasher described him to the New York Times as someone who seemed like a devoted family man. But Vasher noticed something he could not explain away. Elkins had a bald spot on his head. Not from genetics, from a nervous tic. He pulled his hair out throughout the workday due to stress. Strand by strand. Every single shift. His mother had noticed it too. That bald spot was visible to everyone around him, and nobody asked what it meant. He had at least 2 prior criminal convictions. The first was a DWI in 2016. The second was in 2019 when he was arrested near Caddo Magnet High School. After pulling a 9mm handgun from his waistband and firing 5 shots at a vehicle, he claimed the driver pointed a gun at him first. Children were playing outside less than 300 feet from where those shots landed. He pleaded guilty to illegal use of a weapon. The school property charge was dismissed. He received 18 months probation. Under Louisiana law, that conviction legally barred him from possessing firearms until at least 2029. The ATF is now actively investigating how he obtained both the small-caliber handgun and the rifle-style pistol he used to kill 8 sleeping children. That question has not been answered. The second woman. Her name is Christina Snow. She was his girlfriend, the woman he had 3 children with outside of his marriage to Shaniqua. Braylon Snow, age 5, Kadarian Snow, age 6, Soraya Snow, age 11. Christina lived on Harrison Street. The attack began there. Elkins arrived at her home first around 5 in the morning, shot her in the head, and took her 3 children before driving to the West 79th Street house where Shaniqua and the remaining children were sleeping. Christina survived. She has undergone surgery. She is expected to live. She gave investigators a full account of what happened at her door before sunrise. Now, why? In February, 2 full months before the shooting, Elkins tried to take his own life. That is confirmed by Betty Walker, the woman who raised him, who told the New York Times directly. A suicide attempt in February. A VA stay for mental health treatment shortly after. Released. Sent home. Back into the same house, the same marriage that was dissolving, the same financial pressure, the same children across 2 households. The facility released him, and the family said he came home happy. But happy is not healed. And 10 days after that release, he was on Facebook asking God to guard his mind and his emotions when negativity arose. That post was public, visible to anyone reading his page. And nobody connected it to what it actually was. A man still in crisis who had already tried to end his life once and was looking for a reason not to try again. On Easter Sunday, April 5th, he called his mother Mahalia and his stepfather Marcus Jackson. He was crying. He told them Shaniqua had filed for divorce and that he was drowning in dark thoughts. His stepfather told him he could beat it, and Elkins replied with the line that has haunted that family since the moment Sunday morning arrived. Some people do not come back from their demons. That call ended. Nobody called a crisis line. Nobody called the police. Most families in that moment do exactly the same thing because most of the time that call does not end the way this one did. But this time it did. His brother-in-law, Troy Brown, who lived with him, heard him in those final days repeating the same thing over and over. "Bro, I do not want to lose my wife." Brown described it as unlike anything he had ever heard from Elkins in all the years they had known each other. When Brown left for work at 9 p.m. Saturday night, Elkins was calm. Freddie Montgomery, who lives across the street, saw Elkins sitting on his front porch that same Saturday afternoon, watching the children play in the yard. The 2 men waved at each other. 12 hours later, those children were dead. There was a court date scheduled for April 20th, the morning after the shooting. The divorce papers were ready to be signed. The marriage that he had told her he would kill everyone over if she tried to leave was about to be legally dissolved in a courtroom. He had known that date for weeks. He went on a one-on-one dinner date with his eldest daughter the evening before. He posted about it with laughing emojis. He came home. And somewhere between that dinner and 5 in the morning, something final locked into place. Some children tried to escape through the back door of the West 79th Street home while it was happening. Bullet holes were found in that back door when investigators processed the scene. One child made it to the roof. The rooftop survivors were Keosha Pugh, Shaniqua's sister who lived in that house, and her 12-year-old daughter. Both jumped. Both sustained broken bones. Both survived. Keosha managed to call a family member while it was still happening, screaming that he had shot and killed the kids. Troy Brown's own son died in that house that morning. His daughter was the 12-year-old who came off the roof with scratches. His wife fractured bones from the fall. Brown said through tears, "I am never going to get to throw the football with him again." These were 8 babies, precious babies, babies that I helped raise daily, on a daily basis. Was he on medication or drugs? No toxicology report has been publicly released. What is confirmed is that his VA treatment involved a mental health protocol during his stay, but the specific medications or treatments have not been disclosed by any official source. What we know is that he had a documented suicide attempt in February,
Crazy,
a VA
bro.
inpatient stay, a release, 10 days of visible crisis on his own Facebook page, and a phone call to his family where he told them directly he did not know if he would survive his own demons. Whether any pharmaceutical factor contributed to what happened that morning is a question the full investigation has to answer publicly. Now, the question that kept surfacing in the private corners of the comment section. Several posts circulating on Facebook and TikTok, unconfirmed by any official source or named investigator, suggested that the infidelity Shaniqua cited in her divorce filing may have involved another man, that Elkins may have been living a private life that was hidden from everyone around him. This has not been confirmed. No family member on record has named it. No investigator has addressed it. What is confirmed is that the divorce was filed for infidelity. The nature of that infidelity has not been publicly specified. Whether there was a hidden dimension to his personal life that deepened the crisis around the divorce is something this investigation has not addressed openly. It may never be addressed. But this community asked it directly, and it deserved to be named for exactly what it is. An unconfirmed but widely circulating theory about a man who kept an entirely different face turned toward the world than the one that walked through those doors before sunrise on April 19th. The ATF investigation into how a man legally barred from owning firearms until 2029 obtained 2 weapons remains open. The Louisiana governor's Love One Louisiana Foundation covered all funeral costs for the 8 children. The Community Foundation of North Louisiana launched dedicated survivor funds. Hundreds gathered for a vigil, and 2 women remain in recovery while a community tries to find language for a grief that has no edges. Jayla, age 3, Shayla, age 5, Kayla, age 6, Layla, age 7, Markaden, age 10, Braylon, age 5, Kadarian, age 6, Soraya, age 11, 8 children who tried to get out the back door and couldn't, 8 children whose father sat on the front porch the afternoon before and watched them play in the yard, 8 children whose grandmother texted their father 2 days before asking for a kiss to pass along, 8 children who deserved every single year that was taken from them before the sun came up on what should have been an ordinary Sunday morning in Shreveport, Louisiana. The system had this man on record twice. It had a February suicide attempt that was known to the people who raised him. It had a VA release back into an active crisis. It had a divorce filing for infidelity. It had a court date the next morning. It had a pre-marriage death threat that the woman he married had already survived once. Every single one of those things was a door the system could have walked through. None of them were enough. And 8 children paid for every door that stayed closed.
About 5:55 a.m. on Sunday morning, Shreveport police received the first call regarding a disturbance at a residence in the 300 block of West 79th Street. The caller stated that they were on top of a house. The suspect was inside and that a male had been shot. 3 minutes later at 5:58, dispatch received an additional call indicating the suspect was a relative of the caller. A minute later, 5:59 a.m., dispatch was advised that approximately 9 individuals resided at the location. The caller further stated that the suspect, identified as Shamar Elkins, had shot everyone inside the home. At 6 o'clock a.m., 1 minute later, the caller advised that she and her children had fled from the roof and were now in the backyard. 6:01 a.m., officers arrived on the scene. 6:03, officers made contact with the caller at the residence. At 6:05 approximately, officers requested the Shreveport Fire Department to stage at a nearby location close to Linwood. 6:07 a.m. A second call was received regarding a shooting in the 500 block of Harrison Street. The caller stated that her boyfriend had shot her, taken her 3 children, and fled the scene. 6:08 a.m. The victim identified the suspect as Shamar Elkins. At 6:10, dispatch linked the Harrison Street shooting with the shooting on West 79th Street, and that they all were related. At 6:15, officers received information that the suspect had carjacked a red Kia Sportage at West 79th, closest to Linwood. At 6:17 a.m., our traffic units out on random patrol encountered or observed that particular vehicle traveling southbound on Interstate 49. The officers advised at 6:18 that they were crossing the Red River Bridge into Bossier City. At 6:20, officers received information that the children taken from the Harrison Street residence may be inside of the fleeing vehicle. 6:23 a.m., officers advised that they were exiting near Swan Lake area. 6:25 a.m. approximately, officers located the injured victims from the Harrison Street shooting. 6:29 a.m., officers made contact with the suspect through an exchange of gunfire. At 6:30 a.m., officers confirmed contact with the suspect in the 400 block of Brompton Lane. 6:40 a.m., officers advised that the suspect vehicle was empty and no children were located inside. 6:43 a.m., officers cleared the resident of West 79th Street where multiple deceased victims were located. 7:03 a.m., Shamar Elkins was pronounced deceased at the scene on Brompton Lane. 7:14 a.m., the Shreveport Police Department contacted the Louisiana State Police Investigative Division, and they began their deployment to the Bossier City address to begin to investigate the officer-involved shooting.
That shit crazy. That's really crazy, bro. I'm telling you, bro. But I tell y'all, man, watch who you lay down with. Watch who you stick your shit in. Rub your pussy with. Whatever you do. Whatever you enjoy on your time. Watch who you doing these things with, man. 'Cause people got feelings, man. People got feelings. And you know, depending on y'all situation, man, people might take the shit more serious than you. You know what I mean? In this case, this was kind of the wrong thing. Bro seemed like he did was I wouldn't even date a motherfucker that looked like that. His ass looked like a damn alien. His ass looked like an alien for sure. But anyway, anywho, I'm about to get the fuck up out of here. I'm gonna catch y'all good folks. I'm gonna catch y'all good folks on the next screen. Jeff, appreciate you for dropping in, Jeff. And put me on point about old boy, man. Like I say, man, I see him. He got some good talent. I see him doing some things for sure. Boy, I don't know if you trolling me right now or what, but I don't know what you getting at with these wings and this chicken, but yeah. Anyway, I love y'all, man. I'm out, man. Peace.